Marcus Crowick is a business coach, profit-first professional, and entrepreneur with over 40 years of experience helping business owners take control of their finances and build profitable, stress-free businesses. In this podcast, you'll get real-world strategies and practical insights to grow, increase profits, and create financial stability. Whether you're a tradie, a startup, or an established entrepreneur, Marcus's straightforward approach will help you build a thriving business. This is Business Unlocked.
Welcome, Julie Goodwin. Lovely to have you here with me again.
Nice to be back.
Quick introduction. I'm sure people know who you are, but you never know.
Never know.
Best known in Australia and around the world. It is around the world, because I know when my relatives from the Netherlands were out here, they actually got a signed Dutch copy of the first book, I think it was. And took that back because they've been watching you over there and were incredibly surprised to know that I knew this lady from Australia.
There you go.
So running your own business post MasterChef as well, being Julie Goodwin, as well as co-owner, director of Loyal I.T solutions established on the central coast of New South Wales for over 20 years with your husband, Mick. Been established as husband Mick for just gone 30 years.
Yes.
Another achievement. Maybe we should talk about that achievement for people in being married for 30 years.
Running a business together.
Running a business, the trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Well, that actually was something I was going to talk to you a little bit about, and we might come back to that. If you can remember, I'm not sure that I will remember, but there is a point there, and I can remember having this discussion with you the best part of 20 years ago about that combination of directors and making decisions. And it's a really important one. So many of our small businesses out there are husband and wife, partner type businesses. And one of the problems they can have is making decisions and getting upset with one another as time goes on.
100%. That's a topic.
That's a topic.
That's a topic, yeah.
So we'll keep everybody in suspense to get back to that one. Because the other thing I wanted to talk to you about today was setting goals and then visualizing, like, how have you come up with where you've wanted to go? My knowledge of you is either from when you started Loyal I.T, you came up with ideas about where you wanted the business to go, what was literally going to look like, and the same thing in MasterChef. So can I get you to take us down that track a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. That whole idea of goal setting. I remember when I first met you and we were doing the business networking groups and that kind of stuff. That was one of the things you talked a lot about as you're a business coach. Well, you are a business coach, still are. But talking about, you can't really know what you're working on until you know what you're working towards.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to have clarity around what it is that you're trying to achieve. And it's hard to answer those questions without, for me, I'm visual, so I like it to be written down and in front of me. But to have, it's not just a goal about, well, I want a business that does X, Y, and Z. It's like, but why do you want that business? Well, it's because I want to be able to fund a lifestyle that, makes me happy, or that allows me to travel, or allows me to have time with my children. Or so, you've really got to start with that macro, like big picture, life picture. What is the life goal here? Why would you start a business without knowing what that's going to do for your life? Because it's a different proposition than what a lot of people think. It's like,
absolutely.
I don't think there's too many people who've walked into a cafe and had to wait too long for their coffee, and the coffee wasn't great and the cake was a bit stale and it all cost a bit much and there were crumbs on the table, that didn't stand around going, oh, God, I could do this better. I could do this better, Well, could you though? And it's a lot harder than it looks.
And I tell you, that's probably the number one reason, all right up there, people go into business for themselves. They keep saying to themselves, I could do this better. Or they look at what they imagine the money is coming through the business and think the boss is making a fortune out of this. The old days would be, I'm getting paid $35 an hour and they're charging $100 an hour. My God, I want to collect on that money. And they never think of everything that goes into into that.
That really interested me during COVID because there was a lot of criticism of small business that didn't pivot, right? In my kitchen, which is, was my other business, we pivoted so damn hard. All my joints were broken. But there were people who clearly don't work in a hospitality industry going, well, surely you're better off just making and selling sandwiches than doing nothing. That's because you think you buy a sandwich for $7 for a ham sandwich. I don't know if you can still get a ham sandwich for $7.
In a servo sandwich, it's $7.
Yeah, but in a cafe, it's a bit more.
No, I'm saying.
But what they don't see is that you can't hire a staff member for 1 hour to make one. So you've got to hire someone for 4 hours. You can't just buy 2 pieces of bread and 1 piece of ham and make that much. You've got to try and guess how many sandwiches you're going to sell that day, and whatever you don't sell is wastage. And there is so much more than I just bought this sandwich for $7.50 and I could have made that at home for $1.50.
Yes.
What a rip-off.
Yeah.
There's so much more than that. So, I think to understand what you want for your life before you start a business is really important. But then once you've figured that out, and if you still feel like that's a great idea, then you've got to have goals, and those goals have got to be broken down into smaller achievable goals. And that kind of clarity, it really helps drive you forward. And I think everybody experiences from time to time that oh gosh, like a freeze. You sit at your desk and your computer's there and your calendar's there, and there's just so much that you've got to do that it's overwhelming. And for me, sometimes that's just like, oh God, I need a nap, and I cannot achieve anything. But if you've got things chunked down into smaller and smaller, so then you can just start at the microscopic level and say, well, in order to be this business, I need to have this many clients. In order to get that many clients, I need to do these actions, whether they're phone calls or whatever. And in order to do that, I need to look that up on the internet, look up 10 things on the internet. That's what I can manage today. I can Google 10 different businesses that are in need of my service. Yeah. And if that's what you achieve, then you're still working on this goal up here, but you're doing it in a manageable way.
That's really interesting. And a few things come to my mind. One of them, listening to people about mental health, is you can have all the things that you should be doing, it's on your list, and you end up doing other things. And they say that's a coping mechanism because of the overwhelm that you find yourself in. And you get to the end of the day, you've been busy being busy, but nothing's been achieved. My definition of what a business should be doing for you is that the business is a vehicle that provides for your life. Yeah. That should be money, time, enjoyment, all of those things. But going back to what we were saying before, I don't know that a lot of people come to the business thinking like that. And I even work on the work-life balance idea, saying to people, well, it's all life.
It's all life.
So business is part of that life. You need to be more defined about what you mean by life. Is it the leisure time for yourself, family time? And then you can come back to the goals. If you remember with me, so I'm very big on this in training coaches, because I've done a lot of training coaches as well as working with clients. The idea of come up with fewer goals. I'm going back to what you're saying. If that's what you can get done today, get that done today. Yeah. And so if I'm working with the clients, well, between now and the next session, what's the commitment of what you're going to get done? Yeah. And I don't want 27 things. No. If we're going to commit means that absolutely it's going to happen. Yeah. I would rather you committed to one idea, one action, and completed that and got that tick, the dopamine hit, whatever. Yeah. My understanding is that's better than committing to even 4, getting the one done that you were going to get done, but the other 3 haven't been done. Those crosses are cancelling out the tick. Tick. Is that same experience with the get done what you can get done that you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
That means, can you make sense of what I'm saying, Julie? Well,
yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of very sort of, and when you talk business coaching, life coaching, personal trainers, all that sort of stuff, there's a lot of that gung-ho, get up, get it done, don't hit the snooze,
grind and hustle.
Go to bed. Yes. And I think that what that can lead to is a feeling of just not achieving, and that can make you feel ashamed. Oh my God, I've started this business, I'm not achieving anything, I'm a failure. And so I think that in amongst all the grind and the hustle and the, got to be disciplined, got to get it done, got to have a tick list, got to, get out of bed, punch in and, get my jog in before I sit at the desk. And I think we need to introduce the idea of a bit of self-compassion into all of that, and a little bit of flag noticing, like literally if you sit down
like red flag noticing.
Red flag noticing. Yeah. Like if my body is sagging at the thought of getting out of bed every morning instead of pumped and excited for at least one thing in the day, that's a flag. That's a red flag. That's something you need to pay attention to. And the idea is that you pay attention to those red flags and take action about them. So whether that's, well, you know what, I'm not going to achieve very much in this headspace, so I'm going to literally close the lid on my laptop, or I'm going to unplug my computer, I'm going to turn it off, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to walk out the door and get some fresh air, or I'm going to go home, or I'm going to go to the beach, or I'm going to go and have a coffee and I'm going to eat a cake that I've been telling myself I'm not allowed to eat. If you take those little steps now, then potentially you're heading off a much bigger collapse down the track. And those kind of collapses can lead to the end of your business.
Yeah.
So I think this is very relevant in small business. I think small business people are incredibly brave, expect a lot of themselves, expect a lot of their businesses, expect a lot of their staff, and those expectations stack up on top of each other. And then when something goes wrong, and something will always go wrong. Always go wrong. There is no controlling all of those things. You're just unable to deal with it, So there's a lot of juggling balls in the air with business. So I think it's super important to be aware of where you are in yourself, to make sure that you're looking after your brain and looking after your body, and that will equip you so much better to be resilient when something goes wrong.
Yeah. And you talk about a lot of that in your book, Julie Goodwin, Your Time Starts Now, the autobiography. Great read. I always say to people, get your tissues out, because, you open up completely about what's happened in your life. So that what you're talking about are the mechanisms that you've put in place to help you along the way as well?
Well, it's one of the main it's one of the main reasons I wrote that book, and it's one of the main reasons now that the majority of my work life is talking about mental health and how to take care of yourself. The idea for me is that I want people to recognise these signs and symptoms before they become life-threatening.
Yes.
It's a deadly thing. Ill mental health is a deadly thing. It kills a lot of people. So if you can recognise the signs and symptoms, if you can take a few things off your plate, if you can speak to somebody and say, you know what, my task list is a bit much here, and then maybe you can go, okay, well, there's too many tasks here for me to achieve. Let's go back to the goal. Is that goal in any way achievable, or am I just sitting here in my office with me and my partner and a couple of staff saying we're going to be a global corporation with 50 offices by next week? But it's all got to be within the realm.
And does that also come back to, if that goal doesn't suit your personal goals in life, you're not going to achieve it. It's not who you are. Like, if you don't want to be if you're not Jerry Harvey, you're not going to be Jerry Harvey type idea.
Correct.
So when you were setting up Loyal IT and looking at goals, MasterChef, did that vision the idea of this is what we want our lives to look like, playing to it, and how much of that's important to then creating the business goals?
100%. So And that was done with your help as a business coach. It's like, well, why?
You'd also worked on things beforehand.
Well, yeah. But, there was a clarity around how you set that up that really resonated for me. But it was, you made us think about what do you want your life to look like? And therefore, how does this business bring you to that? Yeah. And, Mick and I, and this is one of the secrets of working with a spouse, is that we're on the same page. We have the same goals. We want the same things for our life. Mm-hmm. And so what we wanted for our life was time with our children, to have the means to be able to travel and live comfortably, and do the things that we wanted to do. We've never wanted to rule the world. We've never wanted to have a massive multinational corporation. We just want to be comfortable. We want to be happy, and we want to be present to our kids and now our grandchild. And so we've built a business that does that. In our recent conference, so 22 years we've been in business, and the business it's an award-winning business.
Yes. Over many different categories, I might say.
Over many different categories, but the one that means the most to us and the one that we won the most is excellence in business ethics.
Yes.
So that I'm very proud of, because that to me fits the values that we wanted to bring into the business. But we were able to sit at our last conference and say with hand on heart to our assorted team who we love. We've got guys working here who are so committed and so wonderful that we didn't start this business to be mega rich. We started this business so that we could have a really good family life. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want for our team as well. Mm. There is no point in us raking in every last cent and, focusing completely on the bottom line if we've got a miserable team.
Yes.
When the team is happy, Mick's happy. He's happiest that he's been in a long time in this business because he's got this team around him that are all on board. And so much of what we do in this business is about looking after the team, and we're constantly asking them, what we can do to improve, what they need for their workspace to be better, what they need for their home life to be better. They've got opportunities in all these different areas, financial, health, wellbeing, all this sort of stuff, where we give them time to go and do it. We will pay for them to go do it. All these different areas of their life. So, that vision come from just our life. Yeah. Now wanting that. So
I think, you're known in our local community. Who you are as people, to me, is what makes this business so strong for team members, for the community, for your clients, because that's who you are. Your code of honour isn't something that we developed so you could stick it on a wall. It was the clarity.
It's on the wall.
It is. It's all over the place. But again, you're a business that puts that in place. I'm going to talk a lot more to Mick about that. So there's the strength of, it's not one of those corporate things of we've got our vision, mission and culture done. It's a real
it's not a
business. And that comes across very strongly with the team. They're here to look after the team. And you do care about what's personally going on for them and how you can help them. There's stories I'd have to check with you off air to say, is it okay to actually tell people, which are things like, why are they doing that? That is not the responsibility of the business to be that involved. But as people, but we're in a position where we can help them as a business, we can help them. And so we want to do that. It's quite outstanding. So big message for business owners there. Are you actually looking after your team, or are you just giving it a tick in the box, or you're not actually looking after them, you're just getting it out there? Would you?
It's the cycle that you talk about.
The cycle of business.
The owners
look after the team.
The team looks after the clients look after the business, and the business looks after the owners. And if any part of that breaks down, then the cycle isn't working.
Yeah. The other thing I'd add to that, because I talk about that with myself, with employees I've had over the years, but you don't do that so that cycle works. It's not, if I do this thing, I'm going to get this end result. No. You do it because that's how you believe people should be looked after. Yeah.
And that fits into the whole idea of setting a goal, because what we want is a comfortable and happy life. And if you can't sleep at night because you're not living according to your values, then that's not a comfortable or happy life.
Yeah. And So we'll come to a conclusion around this. How simple do you think that goal can be? Can it be, I want a comfortable and happy life?
Of course it can.
Yeah.
If that's the truth, and if that's what you want, just enough, and
then we've just got to work that out for you, which is very contrary to what most people in business coaching and all the people going along to seminars, and I'm not having a go at the seminars, they're all, they're wonderful. You should go to as many as you can and take away what you can. But it's okay to have you might find along the way that what you want as a happy life changes a little bit. Some of those toys, holidays, whatever.
Absolutely.
There's actually nothing wrong with some of the happiest people I know.
Yeah.
Have worked on the council for 35 years or driven a garbage truck or whatever.
Yeah.
And they've got their super, they've, bought a few houses along the way. That's another episode again. Yeah. So set the goal.
Yeah.
Make it the personal goal and have the business fit into what you actually want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
And take care of the people who you surround yourself with along the way.
And maybe define success for yourself. Success can be defined by somebody over here as X, Y, and Z. It can be defined as always being the winner, always, being at the top, being number one. Success for me has changed a lot over the past 22 years, and it's changed even since MasterChef. And success for me now involves time with my granddaughter. It involves, time with my family. It involves laughing and taking time out for myself. It involves doing art. There's so much more to a successful life than the numbers on your balance sheet.
That gets even more so as you get older, and I'm considerably older than you. But I'd say to people, the first thing that goes into my diary during the week, it's there as a recurring appointment. 3 days a week, I go and pick up my granddaughters from daycare.
There's nothing better, is there? They're little faces when they see.
Now you'll make me cry.
Yeah.
Anyway, set the goals, make it suit your wife, look after the people around you.
And build in lots of time for the little kids.
Yes, absolutely. It goes way too fast. Julie Goodwin, thank you so much for being my guest on this episode. Absolutely love having you along.
My pleasure.